who's in the house with me. All right. So obviously some of the class do know me from last year. I'm going to put on my screen. You'll see my dog at the same time. Yes, that farm life in the suburbs of Kloof. Right. Hi, guys. This is me. I'm Anwin, but pretty much everyone to do with work calls me Annie. This is my dog, Poppy, who's decided today is the day that she wants to join in on the work. And I'm going to be taking you guys for JRN and media studies. Some of you have had me for media already, or NCTE. I take a lot of different modules over the BA degree. Sorry, I look like this. I had karate training earlier, so I am still in my training kit, but didn't want to be late to class, so it was more important to get here. But I think, oh, sorry, that's me with my laptop. I always think it's good to put a real face to the name. So this is me. Hi. I hope you have fun with me this semester, and I hope we can get to grips with what's happening in the world of journalism, what's happening in the media around us. And yeah, like I say, have a bit of fun and break down the intricacies of writing for JRN as well as what to look out for. All right, I'm going to switch my camera off because I don't look great. Okay, so I can see there's still some people joining and what have you. Okay, so for this semester for journalism, I know a lot of you might be going, why, when I'm studying psych, am I doing JRN? It's such an odd subject. No problem at all, Margaret. I know it might seem like an odd subject to be studying, unless you're doing the English comms stream and are choosing to do JRN as another major. But the reason why we study journalism within this degree, even if you're doing psych, English comms, it doesn't matter. The reason that we do it is because journalism, like psych, is about the study of people. It's about trying to find the deeper story. It's trying to find that hidden gem within a scenario. So where psych, you might be analyzing a person or someone's personal life or a company or whatever it may be. JRN is about being able to, one, research and find out information, and two, being able to look at something at face value and say, there's more to this. So my job this semester is to teach you how to go about finding that deeper story, trying to find the hidden meaning to things, and to be able to be critical about the media that you engage with. Because in all reality, you guys are being faced with JRN and media almost every second of every day, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's social media, whether it's websites, Netflix, Disney Plus, and on and on. We are constantly being surrounded by media in some way, shape, or form. And journalism isn't just about the writing of stories. For you guys, for JRN 1, we do focus on the writing side. JRN 2 is where they deal with like multimedia and video and photos and all that. But it's about looking at everything with a critical eye so that we know that the media that we're choosing to engage with, the stories that we're choosing to read, they are as truthful as possible, as accurate as possible, and that you are not just accepting information at face value. Because if you do that, chances are someone is going to catch you out with some form of fake news somewhere along the line. So this module in particular is very practical, where your assignment, which I was able to share with you guys today, where your assignment is theoretical in its approach. The portfolio that you guys are going to be putting together is very practical. It's going to be made up of written pieces. It's going to be made up of interviews, research, everything. So the first few learning units that we cover are going to be more theoretical, basically the foundation of what we're going to be studying. And then when we get to learning unit 4 and 5, we kind of flip the narrative and go to the more practical aspects of things. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this right from the get-go, excuse me, is because well, this is going to sound weird coming from your lecturer, but it's not about understanding every single little element in minute detail. The journal book, while it may not be long, all the additional readings and all the additional research you have to do for journal to make sure that your stories that you produced are legitimate, you're going to be doing a lot of extra work. So it's about understanding things in a more general approach, where in the first few learning units, you do need to know set pages, and you're going to be doing your in-text referencing, and we're going to be focusing on all of that when it comes to our NSS. But after that, it's more about the application that we're going to be focusing on than the theory side of things. So what your role is in terms of being a student is reading the theory, working through the think abouts and the active learnings on VC Learn, working through the theoretical concepts, so that when we come together on these collabs, that I work with the practical application side of things. So you have worked through the theory. I'll obviously always open up the lecture with time to let you guys ask any questions with regards to to the theory that you've covered. But then it's going to be, my focus is going to be on how you're going to apply it to actual journalistic writing or principles of research or how to do an interview, because that at the end of the day is going to be counting 70% of your mark. All right. Does that make sense to everyone? What kind of my role is and your role is in terms of theory and application? Okay. Good. The other thing that I will say to you guys, if you are not already engaging with some form of journalism, whether it be social media, whether it be websites, but if you're not following something that's happening within the media, you're going to be lost. Okay. I'm glad that the context helps. You are needing to be research fiends from now on for me. You need to spend some part of your day, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, some people, they get like really into it and then they start spending ages. But you've got to spend some time going online and actually looking at what is going on in the world around you. I'm not only going to be focusing on South African media. That does not mean I'm going to ignore what's happening in our own country. But at the same time, I'm also going to be saying to you guys, what have you found interesting in the last 2 weeks? What trends have you been following? Which stories have you found interesting? And then we're going to incorporate those into our lessons. So if you are one of those people that kind of shy away from finding out what's going on in the world around you, you're going to have to change it for 6 months or 4 months, however long it is until your POE is submitted, because that additional support is going to make or break you, because you're going to be, for your portfolio, writing stories based on research and based on interviews. Yes, all those introverts, I'm very sorry, you are going to actually have to face a person and actually have an interview with them. I know, a scary thought, but we can do it. But the idea here is that you need to know what's going on around you to be able to complete your portfolio, because you've got to choose something that you have an interest in. You've also got to start forming your own opinions. You've got to be able to say, I agree with you, and this is why, or I disagree, I think it means this. I want us to have those debates. I want us to have those discussions. Again, it's all for the sake of your portfolio. And it's all for the sake of understanding this module beyond just the pages of the textbook. All right. Because I think there's nothing worse than a journalism class where it's literally just regurgitating theory at you and you kind of like, well, what's the point of these collabs? Okay. The point of these collabs is for us to chat and debate things and focus on that practical aspect. Okay. I'm so glad. This is still, all these years later, I've been part of VC for, I think this is my 15th year, and this is still one of my favorite modules to teach because it's real world stuff. It's not just random theory. Listen, nerves are not a bad thing, Michael. Nerves can actually help you. So we'll run with it. Okay. So let me explain to you the academic side of things. All right, so we obviously have our ICE, which is our 10%. I'm going to pull up our ICE tasks just to show you guys. I have set these ICE tasks, but guys, if you're finding any of them are too lengthy or too time consuming, you know, as you're starting to work through it, please just be honest with me and say, Annie, this one is really not working for us. You know, and I can say to you, skip it, or go, you know, go to another one, or maybe I can change it up for a different one. I have tried to choose a bunch of ICE tasks that I think are going to help you from the activities on VC Learn. I think they're going to help you with the pacing and at certain aspects where to focus. But they are new. I'm going by what's written in the brief. You know, what I think could take an hour might for you guys take 2-3 hours. I am very much a lecturer that is pro open communication, and I will listen to you guys within limits, because at the same time, obviously, you need to meet your academic quota. But if there's one that's really taking way too long, I'd rather work with you so that you have more time to focus on your POE. I do want you guys to make sure that you are referencing throughout these ICE tasks, just to make sure that you're practicing that referencing skill. You're not going to be using referencing that much in your portfolio. So if you can use it in your ICE tasks and in your first assignment, in your POE, a massive portion of it doesn't actually have in-text referencing, just a reference list at the end. So where your other modules, you're referencing the whole way through. So my balance is, well, you got to do the ICE tasks with referencing because you're not going to be doing that much referencing in your POE. Okay, so everything is under more resources. Let me just turn my edit mode off so it looks like yours will look. So if you go to module resources, that'll take you to the OneDrive, and everything that I upload for you guys will go into that OneDrive. I'm going to share that with you in a minute. There's your ICE activities. If you click on this Collab recordings, that'll take you to my YouTube channel, which will have all the recordings of all our lectures. There is the live Collab link. So if you're not in group 1, you can go click here and it should take you to the right link. I will go and double check all the links tonight and tomorrow during the day to see where the disconnect happened. And then there's also what Naz asked us to put on is the support interventions, which will take you to her page. So it won't be my stuff, but it'll take her to will take you to her page. That'll help you. So everything that you need for this module will be under more resources. All right. So the module resources one, I'm just gonna open up the OneDrive. Just for those who haven't necessarily had a chance to look yet. Oh, my keyboard is really driving me insane. So you will see, I'm just double checking it is sharing the screen with you. Yes, okay. You will see here, I've put the student resources and it takes you to one big folder once you've put the password in. The reason being I've got some students that I take for JRN and media, some first and some second and third year modules. So this way it means everyone has access to everything and I'm not having to do passwords for each individual module. Okay. So this is obviously the one that is going to impact you guys. If you click on it, you will find here, for example, the Learning Unit 1 notes. I will start uploading some more notes now that I've chatted to you guys. You'll also see your passes in here, your module outline, your fabulous part, which, you know, the PDF version, not the docx, which a lot of us can't open. Okay, so it's all the files there are for you. Can the rest of you see my screen? Oh dear. Okay, what I would suggest then, log out and log back in. Guys, if it's ever that you can't hear me or you can't see the screen or anything, it means Blackboard is having a little glitchy moment. The best thing to do is log out and log back in, and generally it fixes itself. As frustrating as it is, but we've just worked out that's the quickest way to fix the situation or fix the problem. Okay. The other thing you'll see under student resources here, the live Collab schedule is there. Your timetable for your module, your semesters, semester 1 and semester 2 is there. So I'm trying to make everything as, excuse me, as user-friendly as possible. If anyone says you don't have access to the reference guide, I can call your bluff on that, because here it is in the OneDrive that I've created for you. So the reason I put it in a OneDrive, which is different to other lecturers, I know, but the reason I do it personally is because I've had moments where students have had something due, or where they're really trying to work on stuff, and Blackboard will sometimes go down without warning. It's an international software. We don't have control over it. And they will say, we're very sorry, Blackboard is down. We don't know how long it's going to be down for. So my way of bypassing that is that the OneDrive has everything, so that in that instance, if for some reason Blackboard or VC Learn is down for a few hours, you still have access to your material. So it means constant connection, which I know for some people is important, hence the OneDrive. But you can still access everything from VC Learn. Okay. I've tried to download a document from the OneDrive and it clicked me up because it says too many people using the link. Oh, Anita, that's a new one. I haven't had that before. I haven't got any limits set on it besides the fact that no one can edit it. And I've only got the no edit setting in place purely because I've had students in the past cut rather than copy, and then it means the file goes for everyone. Nicholas, I kicked you out completely. It did that to you as well. Okay. Then I will resend you guys another OneDrive link and see if that works. I'll put a new one out to see if maybe, because I went on it today on a student's laptop logging in and had no problem logging in from, not on my personal PC, on theirs. And I logged in with no problem at all. So I'm guessing everyone went on at a similar time. If we have this recurring problem that you guys can't open it, then I will load everything onto VC Learn as well. But just give me the 24 hours to see if I can rectify it. And if I can, then we're good to go. If not, I will have the OneDrive and I will load everything on VC Learn. Okay. Again, I want to make sure everyone has complete accessibility wherever I can. Right. Any other questions so far before I move on to your module outline? Okay, some people might be typing. Like I said, guys, I am all for open and honest communication. If you are battling with something, if there's a concept you're not getting, whatever it may be, you are welcome to put a message on the WhatsApp group. You can email me. You can private message me. Please only do that if it is necessary. And I know some people are international. For those that are local, please try to keep everything into working hours. I am one of those lecturers that if I am free and I've got my phone and you message and it's like after hours, technically I use air quotes as if you guys can see me, I will still probably respond. If I'm at a function or have something on and it's late at night, then I won't. But I'm never ignoring you. If I leave you blue ticked and I haven't replied to you straight away, chances are I've opened it, I've seen it, and I'll reply to you in the morning. All right. If after 24 hours I haven't replied to you, just say, hey, Annie, please don't forget. Taryn saying you in with no issues. Okay, so it seems some people are having no problem with it and some people are. So let me try that additional link and we'll see if that works. And then we'll take it from there. But I don't want to give up quite so easily because it has worked very well in previous years. Okay. Okay. So let's see. For those who have had issues, maybe just try again tonight and see if it worked. Just to see if it was maybe a temporary issue that a lot of you were trying to get on at the same time. Okay. So in terms of the prescribed material, we are working with Edge Learning Media, the 2018 version of it. There's only one print of it, Journalism Principles and Practice. If any old journal student tries to sell you craft a concept, say no. Okay, you guys are only using one textbook this year. They had to have two last year. So you are only wanting that one book. Okay, there we go. So it was my link I sent you yesterday was a fail. Takes to the JRN2 group. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I will make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm not quite sure how that happened because I have everything separated, but it did. So I acknowledge that. There are some additional readings because we obviously want some stuff that is current as well. So, for example, with Twitter or X, we do have additional readings, but we are using the one textbook. Okay. This module is POE based, so you're not doing a sit-down exam for JRN. It's all based on your written work this semester. All right, just to show you the purpose of what we're trying to do, we're trying to introduce you to the fundamental journalistic skills that are required in industry, research, interviewing, and writing for these different genres that we're going to look at. We're also going to look at the history of SA media. We're also going to look at the ethics as well. So the idea is just to expose you to the field of journalism. And what a lot of students say is they can apply these principles and these ideas to other modules as well. All right. So like I said earlier, 10% is ICE, 20% is your part, which we were able to get the PDF today, and then your POE is worth 70%. Guys, again, this is going to sound weird coming from your lecturer. Don't panic if something goes wrong with your part. 20% is a big amount, but at the same time, if something goes wrong and you don't get the kind of mark you wanted, don't freak out. Your POE is still there and is worth 70%. It means you just got to spend a bit more time focusing on that POE and putting in the extra work there to bring your marks up. But yeah, so it's 10% throughout the semester, 20% that assignment. And just so everyone is clear, the first assignment, sorry, you've only got one assignment. Your assignment is due the 8th of April. Okay. So it's not, sorry, there was a mozzie on my leg. It is, what, about 5-ish weeks, 5-6 weeks away. So we've still got a decent amount of time. In our next collab, I'm going to go and I'm going to break down Learning Unit 1 and 2 with you in a lot more detail and spend that time, because I know for most of you, this is obviously your first week. Some of you probably don't even have textbooks yet. Some of you haven't even been able to open a textbook or open the active learning on VC Learn. So today's more about just touching base, letting you know the parameters, what I expect, what you guys expect, and asking all questions to give you time to obviously get into the learning material. Okay. So what was I going to say? Oh, the other thing is, like I was mentioning earlier with WhatsApp, I did pin that whole little thing that was sent by Ali to us to just say, please be respectful of one another in the WhatsApp groups. I have opened it up from being admin only because I knew I was seeing you guys this evening, so that you're able to ask questions and let me know if, you know, so that we have that two-way communication. But the moment someone starts being mean to someone else, the moment we start like steering away from the journalistic side of things, I'm not talking about the funny things. Like if you guys find a funny meme that relates to what we're talking about, if you want me to send a picture of a duck or whatever it is, I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about if we start being mean to one another, I will switch over to admin only, so that if there's stuff I need you guys to know, I can send it out as an announcement as well as on WhatsApp. But as long as we're respectful and kind to one another, I will keep that two-way communication open. All right. I'm all for different opinions. My collab space, my belief is that we all should have different opinions. It makes life interesting, but we've got to be respectful of each other's opinions, and you can disagree with someone, but you can disagree with them respectfully. Can we all get behind that, being kind and nice to one another, seeing as though we're all adults? Some of us older than others, but that doesn't matter. Okay. There's too many mean people in the world. We don't need to be part of that. Okay. That's bad juju. We don't need that kind of thing. All right. We want to focus on doing well, having fun, and especially when it comes time to your assignments and your PRE, that two-way communication helps. And guys, a lot of people will ask questions privately, and then I end up going and saying in the main group, guys, just remember X, Y, and Z. Ask in the main group. Chances are, if you're thinking it, someone else is thinking it. There are no such thing as a stupid question, and I truly, truly believe that. Because if one person is thinking that, chances are there are probably 4, 5, 6 of you that are thinking the same thing. So rather ask the question than sit there and being shy. Okay, again, we're going to be nice to one another, and if you ask a question, I'm going to answer you as best I can. And it means you'll help someone else. Or if I can't reply in time, guys, I do lecture during the day on campus at Durban North. So if I'm in lectures and I can't answer straight away, but you think you've got the answer for someone in the group, answer. Help each other out. The only way we're going to survive is by supporting one another. And like I say, if we can be more of a community, and if we can have some fun with this, the better the module is going to go. So I always find that the classes that actually do the best and do well are the groups that support one another, rather than, you know, just shut each other down, because we have this back and forth, and it means that we have that better rapport. Okay, so that's ICE module, being nice to one another. Questions? And I'm going through things quickly, just because I know, like I said, today is not about content. Today is all about just touching base. I will just say to you what I want you to focus on for Learning Unit 1 in a bit, but I want you guys to ask any questions you may have now. You can put your hand up and speak on the mic. Michael, yes, you do have that password. I'll share it for you now, though. Hold on, I'm leaving out the exclamation point. Okay. Robin, yes, there is no due date for the POE yet. We queried it today. They still have not given us a due date. So you'll see that's for all your POEs, your exams. We haven't been given due dates yet. I will constantly check for an updated pass. The moment the pass is updated with the exam dates, I will put that into the OneDrive, and I will put that due date into the calendar for you guys. Oh, sorry, Taylor. No, please don't feel dumb at all. A POE is a portfolio of evidence. So instead of having a written exam like you do for, I think you guys have written exams for comms and for psych. I think English now has gone over to a portfolio as well. So what a portfolio is basically your semester's worth of work that gets submitted on one date, like an exam. So let's say, this is not the date, guys. I'm just using this as an example. Let's say your portfolio is due on the 4th of June, okay? Throughout the semester, as we work through each learning unit, there's going to be a certain aspect of that portfolio that relates to those learning units. So whether it's conducting an interview, mind mapping out research, whatever it may be, what happens is that as we get through that section, then I go, right, guys, let's look at question 1 of part 2 or section 1, whatever the wording is. We will work through that section, and then it means that throughout the semester, all these little elements are completed that you then submit at one final date at the end of the semester. Okay. Yes, Margaret, that is correct. It's only Learning Unit 4 through 6. So it's all the practical stuff, which is 4, 5, and 6. That's the practical things. Okay. So the idea here is that you need to be working consistently through your material. I know I sound like a stuck record. I'm sure all your lecturers have said the same thing. Work through things in a systematic order. I will not let you do a single aspect of your portfolio without me giving you help and support. So yes, we will have our NSS when it comes to your portfolio, which is your national support session, where I go through the portfolio and also your assignment in full on one set session, but I also go through it additionally on top of that in other collabs as well. So as we work through an aspect of a learning unit, whatever, I'll say, right, guys, this relates to this section of your portfolio or this section of your assignment. And then what happens is I go through those bit by bit, but then I still do the full NSS where I go through the document start to finish. Just means that for those who need to work a bit ahead because of schedules, because of work, because of life, it means that you're not having to wait for that set NSS to go through everything, and it means that you're getting my feedback on what I expect earlier than just waiting for that NSS, which is normally a week or 2 weeks before your due dates. I prefer portfolios personally because I suck at writing exams, because it's not my thing, but where others' exams are awesome for them. So it just depends on how your brain works. How much time do we get to complete the POE? So Nicoletta, the POE will be out, so they're working on a staggered system this semester. So the part has been released, the pass has been released with only the assignment due date, and then they're going to stagger the release. So generally, it should be released in the next few weeks, okay? It's meant to come out as soon as it's been moderated. You generally will get May, April, at least April, May. So it should be out during March. They always try to release it as soon as they possibly can. So it's not quite like an assignment where I think they're giving us a 4-week window. With the portfolio, they're meant to give you as much time as possible because it's meant to be something you're working on throughout the semester. Okay. That's absolutely fine, Nicolette. I'd rather you ask the questions, and I know what you mean by being a strategic learner. And I understand that you guys, it can be frustrating for you not having the documents released yet. But you know what? It's not actually, I don't see it as a problem coming from the lecturer's side of things, because I would rather you be focusing on the assignment at the moment rather than thinking, all right, what do I need to focus on the POE? Focus on what we have, and the moment that POE is released, I will make sure that it goes out to you guys. Some way, shape, or form, seeing as though I still can't seem to access the Word documents. Yeah, and I think they also are staggering it to make sure that you aren't getting like overwhelmed and everything being chucked at you all at once, which is a little bit of a grace period, which some see as nice, some see as frustrating, but we're going to take it as a win because it means that you know you've got the one thing to focus on now, and then in a few weeks or 5 weeks once the assignment's in, then you can focus on the portfolio. All right. Other questions, guys? I will be doing referencing with you in a follow-up lecture or collab. I'm not going to do that with you tonight. I'm trying not to put too much on you tonight. So, yeah. What other questions before I just tell you what I want you to focus on with Learning Unit 1? If you think of something during the day, when you're working on something, whatever it may be, please, 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 just put it on the WhatsApp group, email me, whatever it may be. Please do not be afraid to contact me. I do get told by students I am approachable. I do try and encourage that and strive for you not to feel nervous or shy asking me questions. So please rather ask the questions than feel flustered or unsettled. Okay. What was I going to say next? Sorry, my ADHD brain is jumping from place to place. Okay, so the first one I've met that is so involved in WhatsApp group with students. It's a pleasure. I personally like WhatsApp groups. There's a majority of the lecturers don't. For my brain and the way that I lecture, it just suits my style. So that's how I like to do it. For other lecturers, it doesn't suit their modules. Their modules aren't practical like mine are. So it's, you can sit with a textbook and you can do well. And for some of them, where for mine, it's, how to conduct an interview, where to do things, how to research for stories. It's very different. And a lot of students, their brains can sometimes battle with the flip from very traditional theory to this more practical approach that JRN is all about. So that's why for me it works, for others it doesn't necessarily work. But in saying that, you have an amazing lecturing cohort. So you guys have definitely won when it comes to those that are lecturing you, because I know them all personally. So I will definitely say that whether they've got a WhatsApp group or not, it won't matter, because you will know everything you need to know. All right. Now that I've, bolstered up my friends, any other questions before I just tell you, just for 5 minutes, what you need to focus on for learning Unit 1 for our next collab? And again, if you think about it in the morning or whatever, just message me. Okay. All right, so I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment. Okay, so for learning Unit 1, guys, it is quite a, it's not a super long chapter, but what I want you to focus on, particularly for this chapter, is looking at the rules, regulations, restrictions, laws. So let's go with regulations. If you hear me mouthing out words, I'm sorry. I am dyslexic. It's how it's how I type regulations. Sorry, my laptop restrictions. Oh, my thoughts not typing in my letters. Okay, laws. Okay, I'm going that far because mine's doesn't want to type. You need to be focusing on those aspects. So the first learning unit, sorry, for those who haven't even had a chance to look at it yet, it's all about looking at the South African media in the past, specifically focusing on the apartheid era. And I know a lot of people are over talking about apartheid, and a lot of people are like, why are we constantly focusing on the past? But what you guys need to understand is that the journalism industry is a place where fighting is a daily occurrence. And it's not fighting as in with other people or anything. It's that fighting for the freedom that journalists have. Because up until 1994, journalists were controlled, journalists were restricted with absolutely everything. It was only since 1994 that they've actually had the ability and the freedom to say, I will not do what the government is telling me to do. I will report truthful, accurate, and responsible journalism. Jackie, that's okay if you don't have your textbook yet. If you guys don't have your textbook, it's really easy to follow the active learning and going and finding extra readings online. And there are all the extra readings in VC Learn as well. So it's one of those sections where there's a ton of extra information online, that as long as you're focusing on like what the government did to control the media, to make them basically their puppets, you'll be able to use that in your assignment. Okay, so the reason why I'm telling you this is that, again, it's a very general learning unit, the first one. There's a lot of content, but where I need you to focus on is the regulations, restrictions, and laws aspect of it, and that controlling nature of the apartheid government over the journalism industry. All right. Does that sound good? Does that make sense to you guys? I always ask that question because sometimes I say things and students are very confused by what I've said. So I'd rather know that it does make sense. So Nicoletta, the chapter does talk about some part of the pre-apartheid stuff, but when it comes to what you guys are needing to do for your assignment and for your academics, it's the apartheid era as well. Yes, I am going to be covering all of this in detail in the next collab. I'll go into proper detail on Learning Unit 1 and possibly even Learning Unit 2 in the next collab. I just wanted tonight to say where I want you guys to focus. So when I know that we're going on to the next learning unit, I will always at the end of the collab say, right guys, for this next learning unit, I want you to focus on this, this, and this, so that you know where I believe the important focus is, so that when you're working through the material, you know, oh wait, that's what Annie said I needed to focus on, and you spend that little bit more time on that than the other sections. I'm not telling you to leave out anything. I'm not telling you to spot learn or anything like that. I'm just telling you that when you're studying and when you're going through that active learning, the areas that are super important are, for example, with Learning Unit 1, the rules, regulations, and laws. Okay. And then in our next collab, I will break it down in a lot more detail. Okay. So that you guys, we can discuss it and actually go through it. As says that the PO will have a group portion. A group, there shouldn't be a group portion. Okay. Okay, I said the POE, so I'm not quite sure why it's talking about a group portion. But we will have a look once the POE has been released. I'm not quite sure what they've changed. So if there is a group portion, that they've changed the work that I set and that they're wanting you to do stuff in a group, how it would work is you would submit 2 documents, your individual work, and then you would submit your group work. So every single person would submit the group work as well as their individual work. So yes, Safe Assign will obviously pick that up, but I will also be cognizant of the fact that a group section will be submitted. But I'm not quite sure where the group work is in your POE. But I will query that for you guys. Okay. So how other modules have worked with group work as online students, they create WhatsApp groups where they communicate. Also, what you guys are able to do, what I would do is once we knew whose groups are whose, I would make collab rooms. So like your course room, I would make links. So each of you would have your own space that you could go online, like a collab, where you guys could chat and discuss and work as a group. So it would be outside of your collab times, but it would mean that you'd have accessibility and a space to communicate together throughout the semester. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, it is doable. I studied my PGCE last year with VC, and we had group work sections, and it sounds crazy and overwhelming, but it really does work, I promise. Because coming from personal experience as a student myself, not just as a lecturer saying, of course you can do it, you know? It is actually manageable at the end of the day. And it's manageable to do well, if that makes sense. But like I said, I'll query it. Yeah, exactly. Who needs sleep, guys? Come now. Just finding the time. Yes, no, I know. Totally, totally get it. Also working full time and mom and all that. So it can be really hard. But yeah. Before we panic about the group portion, let me just find out and just query that and double check it, and then I will send out an announcement and send out a message telling you guys, yes, there's going to be group work, or don't worry, there was a typo. Okay. Any other questions, guys, before we finish off? Now is the time to ask in our last few minutes. I know. I don't know who thought adulting was going to be a good idea. Oh, the other thing, guys, all collabs will be recorded and will go onto the YouTube channel. Yeah, a sit-down exam for Joan doesn't really work, because how are you meant to research and interview and do all those things? It doesn't work. What is the correct link for the WhatsApp group? I will share it with you right now. Joan 1 WhatsApp. There we go. Yes, I do one collab link for the whole semester, because that way it's not everyone needing a new collab link every 2 weeks. So I have that one solid one consistent link that you guys know you can access all the time. And if you go into the description of the WhatsApp group, it's there. The correct link is under your more resources. It's just that one announcement that I obviously sent out that was wrong, so I'm going to delete that and resend it with this correct link to make sure all the links are correct. Okay, so it was obviously my last announcement where I went wrong. Okay, any other questions, guys? Oh, Chantal, you shouldn't have a clash. 7132. Okay. Let me follow up with that. Okay, so it's COSC 7312. Is that a second semester module? Sorry, I just need to know for when I contact the timetabling planners tomorrow. Is that is it an out of sync module, or is it a semester 1 module? Yeah, no, I know it's third year, but is it a semester 1 module, or is it a semester 2 module technically? Semester 1. Okay, all right. So, because Chantal, are you guys? No, you guys are running in sync because you're doing June 1. Okay, cool. All right, I'll follow up with that, and find out what we can do in terms of that clash. So, because yeah, obviously we are going to try avoid clashes as much as we can, but I will see if I can do something about that tomorrow, because I just need to get hold of the powers that be in the morning. Okay. Pleasure. Okay, guys, then that is us for tonight. Well done. Survived your first Journ collab. Sorry about the teething issues there. I'll go and fix that all in the morning. And I'll have the collab recording uploaded for you guys also tomorrow morning. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great evening. Chat soon. Bye, guys.